Hi guys, and welcome to today's lesson. We are going to be looking at direct proportion. So as before, make sure you are making notes wherever possible. Get a bit of pen and paper with you and write down anything you think will be useful to remember. It is a video, so you have plenty of opportunity to listen again. If you don't understand something, simply rewind it and rewatch that part of the video. Make sure you are fully understanding something before you progress any further. You also have the opportunity to pause as much as you want. It will help you with making those notes. If I have gone a little bit too quick, just press pause so you've got a little bit longer to write down anything you think is important. So throughout the video there'll be a few mini tasks for you to have a go at, just be a couple of questions here and there. Make sure you are having a go at them and you are following them through. It will help you understand where you are and whether you need to go back and re-watch any of it. Lastly, focus as much as you can. I know it's really hard, but wherever you can, turn off anything that's going to distract you. It's your phones, TVs. You need to go and sit in a more quiet room just to be away from people if that is what's going to help you. So just think, the more you focus, the quicker it will be that you can get this over and done with, and you can get on with the rest of your day. So as I said, we're going to be looking at proportion today, especially direct proportion, and it's the type using a formula. So there's two main parts to this. So today we're going to be looking at direct proportion, and later on in another video we'll look at the other type, which I'll go through in a second. So direct proportion is as one thing increases, so does something else. So it might be as the temperature increases, so does the sales of ice cream. The formula, and I would write this down as it's really important, is y equals k multiplied by x. But obviously, as in algebra, we don't write the multiplier bit, we just put the letters together. K stands for constant, and it is really important that we find out what k is to then find out what x and y are for a different strand of the question. The other type, as I said, was inverse proportion, and that is where as one thing increases, something else decreases. So it might be the more tea you drink, the less tea is in your mug. Formula for that is y equals k divided by x, but again we'll go through that in another lesson. Here is your example. For this topic, you are going to be using skills you have seen and used throughout your school journey in algebra. It is applying them to something slightly different, but you're using skills you already have. So you'll be needing anything to do with solving equations and substitution. Between the two, if you're good at those, you'll be absolutely fine at this. Follow a simple process and method using those skills and you'll get the answer every single time. So W is directly proportional to F. When W is 24, F equals 6. Find the value of W when F equals 10. So I know previously, if we skip back, we used Y and X. We can just swap them for W and F. The y and the x are just there as a general rule. K we will always be using. So it is important you understand which way around the w and the f go. So if w is directly proportional to f, w comes first. So w equals kf. All we do then is substitute in what we know from that second row of the question. So w is 24 and f is 6. So we've got 24 equals 6k, or k6 if that's the way you'd write it down. This is the part where we're going to be solving the equation, because we need to solve what k is. We must find out what k is. So the inverse of multiplying by 6 is to divide by 6. 24 divided by 6 gives you 4, so k equals 4. At this point, we're going to use that knowledge and use the 4 and put it into the new part of the formula to find out what w is when f is 10. So again, we're going to write what we know. We know k is 4, we know f is 10. So W is 4 multiplied by 10. W is 40. It is that simple. Let's have a look at another one. So Y is directly proportional to X. If X is 6 and Y is 12, find out the value of Y when X is 10. Again, start by writing the formula. If you're ever struggling, write that bit down. It might twig part of your memory to help you out with the next steps. Import those values that you can already see. So X is 6, Y is 12, so it's going to look something like that. K has to be 2 because again the inverse of multiply by 6 is to divide. 12 divided by 6 equals 2. Use that to form the next part of your equation and import that 10 that we have been told from the final row of the question. So Y equals 2 multiplied by 10. Y has to be 20. Okay, it's your turn now. So Y is directly proportional to X. When X is 7, Y is 21. Find the value of Y when X is minus 2. Follow the same methods you've done before. Press pause and have a go. When you come back, we'll go through the answer. Welcome back. Let's see how you got on. Should have had Y equals K multiplied by X. Import the values we know. So 21 equals 7K. 21 divided by 7 gives you 3, so we know K is 3. Use that to form the next part of the question. So Y equals 3 multiplied by minus 2. Really important you've remembered your rules with negatives. So positive 3 multiplied by negative 2 gives you a negative 6. So Y is minus 6. If you didn't quite get that right, check through your working out. Have you made a silly mistake but understand what you're doing? If you have, carry on with the video. If you're not quite sure where you've gone wrong, then re-watch the last few minutes just to see if it helps you at all. So let's move on. This is slightly different. So G is directly proportional to the square of H. When G is 100, H is 5. Find the value of H when G is 64. So we're still going to be using Y equals K multiplied by X, except this time it says square. So we're going to use G and H obviously, this is what's been used in the question. So G is directly proportional to H squared. So you've just got to add square on the end of H for your formula. Substitute in the numbers you know. So you know G is 100 and you know H is 5. So I've done 25k because 5 squared is 25, so it's 100 equals 25k. I've already done the square. K is 4 because 100 divided by that 25 gives you the 4. Use that for the next part of the question. So G equals 4 multiplied by H squared. We've been told G is 64. So 64 equals 4H squared. Divide by the 4 gives you 16 equals H squared. And then the inverse of squaring something is to square root. Square root of 16 is positive 4, and it can also be negative 4. It's your turn now. So Y is directly proportional to the square of X. When X is 6, Y is 72. Find the value of Y when X is 2. Follow the same process we did before and you'll be fine. Be back soon with the answer. Press pause. So welcome back. Let's go through the answers and see how you got on. So you should have started off with Y equals K multiplied by X squared. Input the numbers you know. So 72 equals 36k because 6 squared is 36. Divide them, so k equals 2. So then we know that Y equals 2 multiplied by 4 is 4 because 2 squared is 4. Therefore, Y equals 8. Again, if you didn't quite get that right, flick back for the last few minutes and just to see where you've made your mistake. Here's a quick task. Have a go. The top two, so red and amber, they are the ones you've already seen. Green and purple, they go on a little bit further onto similar questions, but you're just going to have to change or amend that formula slightly. Just read the question carefully and amend your formula accordingly. So press pause, have a go. Good luck. So welcome back. Here's your 4 answers. How did you get on? So the final part of today's video, we're going to have a look at a worded exam question. I wanted to put this one on there because I think it actually conceals what you're meant to do quite well. I know when I first looked at this type of question, especially when I was younger, I might not even have attempted it because it looks quite complicated. It looks very sciencey, physics and chemistry methods. So the mass of 40 centimeters cubed of copper is 356 grams. Work out the mass of 90 centimeters cubed of copper. Actually wants us to use direct proportion to work this out. So again, we start off by writing the formula and then substitute in what you know. It is really important you get the y and the x the right way round, and the clue is in the question. So if it is 356, that means the 356 has to be the subject of the equation, and that's the part of the equation that's on its own, so the y. So then y becomes 356 and 40 becomes x. We then have to do the inverse of multiply by 40. So 356 divided by 40 equals 8.9. So I know k is 8.9. I'm then going to use that to form the next part of the question. So I know that x is now going to be 90. So it's 8.9 multiplied by 90, and that's going to tell me what y is. That will tell me what the mass of the copper is. So that must mean it is 801. So 801 grams. Here's one for you to have a go at. Now before you start, read the question carefully, see what formula you are going to be using. And just a quick hint, if for a k value you get a fraction or a really small number, don't think it's wrong. It sounds like you might be on the right path. Don't worry about using numbers that don't quite seem as nice as you think they should do. So press pause and have a go. Okay, welcome back. So the question, the cost of a circular table is directly proportional to the square of the radius. A circular table has a radius of 40 centimeters and it costs £50. What is the cost of a circular table with a radius of 60 centimeters? So as we have done throughout, we're going to write our formula, which I'm hoping you've realised on this one is y equals kx squared. So it's going to be 50 equals k multiplied by 40 squared. 40 squared is 1600. And this is the bit I was referring to earlier, that you might end up with a not so nice number. So it was 50 divided by 1600, which will give you 0.03125 or 1 over 32. Both are correct. It depends which one you are happier using. I personally prefer 1 over 32, so that's what I'm going to use for the next part. So write out for the next part of the question, y equals your k, which is 1 over 32, or the other one if you preferred that, multiplied by 60 squared. 60 squared is 3600. Do the calculation, gives you 112.5. Really important with this question that you are not writing 112.5 as your answer. It is money. You need to have 2 decimal places. Therefore your answer becomes £112.50. Hope you got that right. If not, have a look back through, check your working out, see where you've made your mistake. So now it's time you can go and complete task number 2. So choose red or green. If you are struggling, email me so that I can help. Thank you for participating and giving me all of your focus and time and effort. Good luck with the task and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.